Hello friends, and welcome to today's episode. On November 9, 2020, Dustin and Karen Moore were on a midnight trip from Colorado to California with their new baby girl when something strange happened. As babies do, the baby started crying. At the time of the trip, their new baby was just 8 days old. Because they didn't want to bother the other people on the Southwest Airlines flight, the couple asked the flight employee where they could change the baby's diaper. Jenny, the flight attendant, showed them where to change the baby's diaper in the back of the plane and then asked them a few questions. The flight attendant couldn't help but wonder why Dustin and Karen were flying with a baby so young. The couple said that they had just adopted the baby after trying to have a child for 10 years and trying every type of pregnancy help. After changing the baby's diaper, the Moores went back to their places, happy to see that their new baby was now sleeping peacefully. They had been on the road and filling out forms for a whole week, which was very tiring. They were finally on their way home with their new baby girl. Even though they were scared and worried, they were also happy to start their new life together. A few minutes later, another flight attendant came up to them and told them how happy she was that they had been able to adopt. The flight attendant then told everyone on board through the plane's speaker that they had a special guest with them. The party that followed was one that the Moores will surely never forget. Watch more to find out more about this touching moment. The Washington Post says that Dustin Moore, 33, and Karen Moore, 35, got the best gift of their lives from a flight worker named Bobby. Dustin wrote on Twitter about what happened on the Southwest Airlines flight. Jenny and another passenger told me how beautiful my daughter was and asked in a nice way why we were flying with such a young baby. I told them the short version of the adoption story, and they quickly congratulated me and said a few more nice things. Dustin told the Washington Post exactly what flight attendant Bobby said over the plane's speaker in an interview. He said, 5 minutes later, Bobby came on the speaker and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, there's a very special guest on this flight today. She's only 8 days old, and her mom and dad are taking her home." At first, the couple didn't understand why the plane was interested in their new baby. But, to the happy surprise of the couple, the other people on the plane threw an impromptu baby shower. They gave the Moores small gifts, money, and hand-drawn congratulations cards made out of napkins. On one napkin, 64 years ago, I was adopted. Thank you for making this child part of a loving home. We adopted kids need a bit more love than other kids. Congratulations. Dustin's voice broke as he thought about how all the good wishes made him feel. We never thought they would do something like that. It makes me cry just to think about it. The team got all of the paper and read some of them out loud. The flight staff got 60 napkins from the people on the plane and gave them to the Moores. Dustin showed his appreciation on Twitter. What those strangers and the people helping them didn't know was how mentally fragile two new parents were. Parents who finally had their first child after trying for 9 years. Parents who were afraid but ready to take on their new job. Dustin talked to the Washington Post about how he and his wife were dealing with a new and unusual life event. He said, "Adoption is wild and full of doubt. You start to wonder if this birth mother will pick us. What if she changes her mind and doesn't show up?" After having trouble having a baby, the Moores chose to adopt a child through an agency. The World Health Organization says that about 17.5% of adults have trouble getting pregnant. After age 30, the number of people who can't have children tends to rise. About the same number of men and women are harmed by it. Depending on what's causing it, infertility can be treated with surgery, hormone therapy, artificial insemination, or in vitro fertilization. In some cases, sperm or eggs are given to a partner. But treatments for infertility don't always work, and when they don't, couples who want to raise a child need to think about adoption. There are millions of children around the world who can be adopted right now, and it is usually easy and cheap to adopt a child from the foster care system. The best way to get a good deal on a car is to drive it. In some areas, a foster parent can file for adoption for less than $100. If a couple is set on having a baby through a private adoption service, they may have to deal with a lot of extra problems, such as high fees and long wait times before a baby is put up for adoption. Even though starting their own family was hard, the Moores felt a lot of unity and support from the crew and other people on the plane. Dustin said, "It meant the world to us that a whole group of strangers got together like that, shared like that, and showed us that kind of love and kindness." When the couple got back to their home in Buena Park, which is in Orange County, California, Dustin called Southwest Airlines to tell them about the kind act. Even more creatively, the baby's grandmother put the napkins in a book for the parents to keep and show their girl when she is older. When Dustin first signed up for Twitter, he didn't plan to talk about the flight. Dustin first went on Twitter to complain about work. He is a qualified dietitian and is getting his PhD in public health at the University of California, Irvine. But then he changed his mind. Dustin said to the Washington Post, "I told myself, how about pointing out something good? I was sick of going to my Twitter feed and finding out that someone had done something bad. I wanted to come up with something positive." He then talked about how much he and Karen are in love with their baby. Having a kid is just great. All the little things that other people don't think much about are amazing to us. When she burps, we think, wow, that's a big deal. We had to wait a very long time for her, but every minute was worth it. That's it for today, friends. Please let us know what you think about this story. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon for more amazing stories.